I like his interviews. He talks to Andrew Tate. Very good show with Andrew Tate. Talk to Dan Bilzerian. Great show with Dan Bilzerian. Two friends of mine. They're both great. So I think he's a patriot. I think he loves America. He's we have some disagreements, but he's a pretty conservative guy. I consider him in some ways a fellow traveler on some issues. But he's like refusing to not host me on the show. Now, it's his show, it's his prerogative, but it does constitute a refusal because people are requesting it. The fans are requesting it on my show, on his show. People want to see it. And the reason it should be said that people want to see it is because it's going to be an interesting conversation. Whatever you want to say about me, good, bad, or ugly, I don't think anyone can dispute I'm an original thinker. I have an interesting perspective, a novel perspective. That's why people want me on their shows. I bring the views. And if you look at the comments section of any show that I've done, especially recently, people love it. I did a show with Sam Hyde, with Bradley Martin. I did a debate with Dinesh D'Souza. And the comments are all positive. And even the people that disagree say, well, it was thought-provoking, to say the least. So people have been asking for this collaboration for a while. People are asking me, when are you going to get on his show? And I say, well, it's his show. You got to ask him. And he says he doesn't want to have me on because I say the N-word. Okay. I don't agree with it. I accept that that's your explanation. But then today he has on the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu. And that's where you got to say, isn't that a double standard?
Here's the thing. I've always been a firm believer. In the beginning, I liked Patrick Bet-David. I think he's got some pretty solid content, in my opinion. And I still think he does. I appreciate the setup that he's done, the guest he has on. He has some good interviews. I won't say they're all bad, but there's just something about him that it feels like he wants to be in the space, but he doesn't want to ruffle feathers too much. I mean, he'll go to the point where he does certain things where it's, on the nose. But when it comes to the real pressing issues, like with what's going on the Gaza Strip and in Israel in general, he just kind of falls in line with the rest of the Tuckers and the Candace Owens and the Charlie Kirks and all the other, kind of grifters of the industry, in my opinion. I mean, he's got a checkered past too. If you really look into Patrick Bet-David and how he got his start, where his money comes from, right? You always follow the money. I think you'd be pretty interested if you really look into it. So I'll let him keep going.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not being obtuse. I'm not being deliberately obtuse. I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to be fair. I tell it like it is. I understand that Netanyahu is a world leader. So there's a different set of expectations that govern that role when you're a world leader. But Netanyahu is credibly accused of a genocide by the International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court. He was charged with war crimes. And by the way, that's not the Palestinians saying that. The same international bodies that charged Netanyahu with war crimes charged Hamas with war crimes. That's the part that gets buried. They say the ICC is politically motivated. They charged Hamas and Netanyahu with war crimes. And many European governments that are pro-Israel have recognized these rulings as legitimate. So it's not just me. There's massive protests inside of Israel right now about Netanyahu's handling of the war. They believe he's dragging out the war to prolong his time in office.
Yeah, to put it blunt, there's some heinous shit going on over in the Gaza Strip. And there has been, for a while. I mean, they've been doing this for years now, as far as just treating them like subhuman people. But I mean, it's war crime level now, allegedly, right? And I mean, Nick's one of the only talking heads out there that are actually covering it and trying to spread the knowledge about it. That way people can kind of open their eyes and see, because, as we know, there's no journalists allowed in there. And I mean, at the end of the day, whatever side you land on, I mean, these are people, these are mothers, these are children, these are fathers, these are families that, if you believe what's going on over there, are getting shot at like they're target practice, like they're deer in the woods. They're coming to get food. Their place probably got blown apart. They have nowhere to live. It's, some days it could be 100+ degrees over there. They have no shelter, no running water. And you have these IDF soldiers just shooting at them like they're subhuman people, allegedly. So, I mean, if it's true and that's really what's going on, and you look into it, that is some heinous shit. And yeah, BB Netanyahu should be on trial for war crimes if that is the case. So, and with the PBD podcast, he never pressed them. In my opinion, he never pressed the issues. He should have asked the hard hitting questions, and I think overall that's why BB Netanyahu, he chose to go on that show, because he knew he wasn't going to get pressed. But I'll let him keep going.
But of course, why do you have the conversation with somebody like that? Because it's an interesting conversation. It's a big get. It's a big show. It's an interesting interview. But then when it concerns me, I said the N-word. That's the problem. So someone like with Netanyahu, we're going to suspend judgment on the famine, the war crimes, the political assassinations. We're going to suspend the judgment on that for the sake of the interview. Of an extraordinary standard then that's being applied to me. And I actually asked him this on Twitter today. I said, so your problem with me, because he said this on Twitter, he said, well, he says this word and we want it to be a respectful conversation. I said, you've had on Andrew Tate, who says the N-word. And by the way, many of your guests, I'm sure, say it in private too. I just say it in public. I said, and I'm nothing but respectful on other debates or conversations. He says, well, yeah, but Tate is black and you're white. Aren't we interested in conversations? As if the restriction is I can't say it on your show, I'll play by the rules. I'm a respectful person. I don't even swear on other people's shows. I try to be respectful, but if that's the reason, it's a little crazy. And then he turns it into, well, you're respectful on shows, but when you react to some shows on your show, then you're intense. Okay, so now it's my reaction off the, what are we doing? And look, I like the guy. If he doesn't want to have me on the show, it's no hard feelings. But I think you lose a lot of credibility.
Yeah, the double standards, it's bullshit. I mean, Patrick has had on multiple controversial guests. I mean, the fact that Nick says the N-word, yeah, I mean, if he gives you his word, he's not going to use it on the show and have a respectful conversation and support his views in a debate of some sorts if they want to get into that on the show. I mean, Nick has never gone off script and just been, blatantly disrespectful on any of the interviews he's been on. If anything, it's the opposite. Most of the guests leave actually having a different opinion of him. They see him one way as a, flamboyant, out there, egotistical type of talking head if you're on that side. And when you're done with him and in the interview is wrapped up, they actually see that he actually is he's an intelligent intellectual and respects everyone's opinion, even if he doesn't agree. He agrees to disagree, but he never takes shots unless he's getting shot at, in my opinion. But I mean, Patrick Bet-David has had on reverse racists. I mean, and obviously in America that's okay as long as it's blacks being racist to whites. But if whites are racist to blacks, then it's different, right? I mean, racism and all, it shouldn't be around, in my opinion. But I mean, look at like people like Jason Whitlock. I mean, he clearly doesn't like white people. I mean, his coverage of anyone who's not black is very controversial, in my opinion. I mean, he's had on charlatans like Grant Cardona. I mean, people who give this guy his money, hoping to make a better life, and he just, in my opinion, he just rips them off. And I mean, there's a whole list of of individuals if you want to really look into it and kind of see who's been on his show. But again, like I said before, Patrick Bet David has a shady past himself. If you really look into how he made his money, one could say it's a Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme, whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, he's not a stranger to controversy himself.
I'm going to give you a little advice. He's giving me advice saying, you're not going to get far using that word. Okay, point taken. And in some sense, I agree with that. I agree with the thrust of what he's saying. My advice to you is if you let something like that get in the way of a good conversation, I think people are going to lose a lot of respect for you. I think you're going to lose a lot of credibility. So, look, I mean, I've done a lot of big shows. It would be a big opportunity for me. It's your show. It's your prerogative. But everybody's going to say you lose a lot of credibility when it seems like you're making stuff up like that. And when you're playing games about N-word, I mean, are we not all adults? It's words, it's language. You bring on people that bomb little kids and girls and you treat them with respect and dignity. Someone that says the N-word, that's beyond the pale. I mean, let's be serious here. So I think it's a little silly. But it's his show. I respect it. It's his show. It's his prerogative. I don't feel entitled to come on his show. But look, you have a show. You have a platform. The expectation is you use the platform to have the most interesting conversations. I'm a hot guest right now. It's in high demand. And you're refusing it, and you're given a reason. Now, if you had said, well, I don't have to tell you my reason, that'd be one thing. But the reason doesn't really make a ton of sense. I think everyone kind of sees that. But it's your call. Aside from that, I got to be honest with you. Netanyahu is clearly hitting the podcast circuit for propaganda purposes. Everybody knows this. It's so obvious. Netanyahu goes on Nelk. He's going on Patrick Bet David. He's going on other shows. And we all know this is damage control. There was a poll that just came out this week, and it said that for the first time, a poll of the majority of Americans shows that more people in the general audience are sympathetic to Palestine than to Israel. That's the whole population. For the first time ever. And it's not surprising. The American population is more sympathetic to Palestine than to Israel. And with the young people, it's even worse. With the younger demographic and even the Republicans, they're more sympathetic to Palestine than the older generations. And so they're in real trouble here. And it's totally deserved, by the way. It's because we see it. We see the numbers. We see the videos. It's all over Twitter. It's all over TikTok. It is a genocide. It is an ethnic cleansing. It is a forced starvation. It is countless women and children dying. It has raged on now for nearly 2 years. It's totally asymmetrical. This is a nuclear-armed country with the unconditional backing of the world superpower, using the most advanced fighter jets, the most advanced tanks, drones, munitions, waging a war on a civilian population with no standing army. A population that 40% of them are under the age of 18. With no standing army, no government, no military, no ability even to counterattack. They've got no armor. They've got no planes. They've got nothing. And everyone in the whole world is saying, this is shameful. What is happening in Palestine, this is one of those things that will go down in history. Like apartheid, like the Holocaust, like the Armenian genocide. Whatever you think about these various things, whatever you think about them, this is one of those moments that will go down in history. Again, whatever you think about the truth of these various things I've just listed out, it will go down as one of the most shameful things in contemporary history.
Yeah, I mean, it's propaganda 101. You control the media, you control what they think, you control the narrative. And that's basically what we're seeing here. He's hitting all the modern day newspapers, the modern day telegrams, the modern day news channels. I mean, obviously nowadays we don't use any of that. Nowadays we get our information from online, from YouTube, from influencers, from podcasts, things of that nature. So yeah, it's just a new way of controlling the media. And if you control what they think, you control the narrative. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.